Hey, Exotical darlings, this is Coco Exotical. Welcome back to the Monitoring Spirits series. Today we're going to talk about why insecure people can't stop watching your life. Have you ever had someone in your life who seems more invested in your personal business than in their own personal business? Someone who's always asking questions, always watching what kind of moves you're making, always commenting on your life choices like they're the ones running your life and paying your bills. These kinds of people are monitoring spirits, right? They're the kinds of people who can't mind their own business. They're the kinds of people who are obsessed with policing your relationships, your life choices, your career, your income, your spending, your entire lifestyle, right? They're weirdly obsessed with everything that you do. They're asking you invasive questions about your money, your relationship status, your job, your plans. They're keeping tabs on your life like it's their full-time job. And the craziest part is that they act like they're entitled to your personal information. They want to know your business. They want to weigh in on your choices. They want to play devil's advocate. They want to monitor your every move and offer their unsolicited opinion on how you should be living your life. And when you don't give them the information that they've been fishing for, then they start to get weird and passive aggressive. They're offended that you won't let them all up in your business all the time, right? So let's talk about the definition of a monitoring spirit. A monitoring spirit is someone who's obsessively focused on watching, tracking, and policing your life. They're not just casually interested, they're invested. They're studying you, and they're doing it under the guise of just asking or I just care about you. But it's not care, it's surveillance. Here are a few things that monitoring spirits like to do. They ask invasive, probing questions about your income, your relationship, your career, your skin, your hair, your makeup, your workout plan, your future goals, things that are none of their business. They keep track of what you're posting online, where you go, who you're with, what you're buying. They compare everything you do to what they're doing or what they think that you should be doing. Then they make unsolicited comments about your life choices and disguise it as concern or advice. They get weirdly defensive or passive aggressive when you don't share personal information with them. They gossip about you behind your back using whatever information they're able to collect from you. For example, say you post some photos after your vacation, and within minutes after you post, one of your friends comments, "Oh my gosh, you're always traveling. How can you afford to travel so much? Don't you ever stay home?" Not, "Oh, this is beautiful. I hope you had fun." Just straight to interrogating your finances. That's a monitoring spirit. Another example is, say you mention in passing that you're dating someone new, and all of a sudden your so-called friend starts asking a million questions about him. What does he do? How much does he make? Where did you meet? Have you met his friends? Have you met his family? Are you sure he's really serious? They're interrogating you like you're at a job interview, right? That's monitoring spirit energy. So why are some people so obsessed with monitoring your life? The first reason is social comparison theory. They're simply measuring themselves against you. Social comparison theory says that people determine their own worth by comparing themselves to others. And when they see you winning, whether it's making money, losing weight, growing your business, glowing up internally and externally, living your life and minding your business, they feel the need to measure themselves against you. But here's the thing. They're not comparing themselves to celebrate you or to be inspired by you. They're comparing themselves to see if they're ahead or behind. And when they feel like they're behind, then they get obsessive. They need to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing better, and what you have that they themselves don't have. That's why they're watching your every move. They're not rooting for you. They're studying you so that they can figure out how to compete. For example, say you get a new car. A few weeks later, you meet up with your friends for brunch and they see the new car. Instead of being happy for you, one of them says, "Oh, that's a nice car. How much was it? Are you leasing or financing? What was the interest rate?" They're not asking because they're genuinely curious. They're trying to assess whether or not you're actually doing better than them or just faking it. They're trying to find something to nitpick you or to one-up you about. The next reason why some people are so obsessed with monitoring your life is basic projection. They're insecure about themselves and their own lives, so they assume that you must be hiding something or lying about something as well. They don't enjoy their own lives, so they can't fathom that you could ever possibly enjoy your own life. People who monitor other people so intently are often deeply insecure and constantly wearing a mask and putting on a performance in their own lives, so they assume that everyone else is performing as well. They project their own inauthenticity onto you, right? If they're faking it in their own lives, overhyping their achievements and their success, then they assume that you are too. If they're struggling to get ahead in life, then they can't believe that you're not struggling too. So they monitor you, looking for the cracks in your so-called facade. They're waiting for you to slip up and prove to them that you're not really as put together as you seem. That's why they love to point things out about your life or your appearance that aren't so perfect. "Oh, that bronzer is making your skin look extra glowy." "Oh, who does your lashes? They look so natural." They're trying to point out that your beauty is fake. Or, "Wow, you look so amazing in that dress, but there's a little thread sticking out right here." Or, "Oh, those shoes are so cute. They're probably super uncomfortable to walk in though, huh?" They can't just give you a compliment. They have to find the one thing wrong, no matter how small it is, so that they can point out to everyone that you're not that polished and put together. People like this have a scarcity mindset. They believe that your wins mean their losses. People with a scarcity mindset believe that success, money, beauty, love, opportunities, all of it is limited. So when they see you winning, they genuinely believe that you're taking something away from them. They think if she's getting promoted, then that means that I'll never get a promotion. If she's in a great relationship, then that means there's going to be fewer good men out there for me. If she's beautiful, then that means that I'm not. If she's succeeding in life, then that means that I'm falling behind. So they monitor you obsessively, trying to keep track of how much you have so that they can assess how much is going to be left over for them. It's exhausting, it's emotionally draining, and it's a deeply insecure behavior, right? For example, say you hit a career goal at work, and instead of congratulating you, your coworker says, "Must be nice, I've been trying to hit that goal for years." So now they just made your win about their lack. That's scarcity mindset. Your success triggers their fear that there's not enough attention to go around. Another reason some people are so obsessed with monitoring your life is power and control. They feel powerless in their own life, so they try to control yours. Some people monitor other people so deeply because it gives them a false sense of control and superiority. If they can judge your choices, police your decisions, and offer unsolicited advice, they get to feel like they're in a position of authority, even when they're not. It's a power trip for people who feel powerless. For example, say you make a big life decision. Maybe you quit your job, you move to a different city, or you decide to end a relationship. All of a sudden, your cousin has a lot to say about your life choices. "I don't think that was a smart decision. You should have done that differently. I would never do that. You should have waited longer to make that decision." They're trying to assert dominance over your life because they don't have any dominance in their own life, right? Women are socialized to compete with each other. We're taught from a young age that there's only so much space at the table for us. Only one girl can be the prettiest, the smartest, the most successful. Only so many women can have it all. So women internalize the idea that other women are competition instead of allies. That's what creates that monitoring spirit behavior. If they see another woman winning, they feel threatened. They feel like your success means that there's less room for their success. So they watch you, judge you, monitor you, nitpick your choices, and try to find reasons why your wins don't count or why you don't deserve them. It's rooted in internalized misogyny and patriarchal conditioning that pits women against each other instead of encouraging us to support one another, right? It's envy disguised as concern. A lot of monitoring spirits will frame their unnecessary surveillance as being caring or looking out for you. But the truth is that if they were genuinely happy for you, then they wouldn't be monitoring and interrogating you. They wouldn't be keeping tabs on you. They wouldn't be making passive-aggressive comments towards you, right? They're simply envious. And instead of doing the work to get what they want, they're monitoring you to make themselves feel better about what they themselves don't have. For example, say you're glowing up, you lost weight, you have a new job, fresh energy, fresh joy, fresh confidence, and your so-called friend keeps on saying things like, "Well, just be careful. Don't let this go to your head," or "Don't get too excited. I just don't want you to get hurt if it doesn't work out." It sounds like concern, but it's actually envy dressed up as concern. She's uncomfortable with your growth and your elevation, so she's disguising her discomfort as protection. She wants to destroy your confidence and drag you back down to the level that she's comfortable with you being at. Say after a few years of struggling, you're finally doing well financially, and now your sister keeps on asking invasive questions about your money. "How are you affording all of this? I hope you're not going into debt. I'll bet your man is paying for everything." She's not concerned about you. She's fishing for a reason to disqualify your success so she doesn't have to confront her own lack of effort regarding her own financial situation, right? Monitoring spirits can be so good at disguising their behavior as concern that you don't realize exactly what's happening until much later. They ask you invasive personal questions that are none of their business. They want to know your salary, your rent, your relationship status, your future plans, and then they get pushy or standoffish when you don't answer the question. They're hate watching everything that you post, but they're not liking, commenting, subscribing, or celebrating you. They're just watching, monitoring. That's surveillance, not support, right? They compare everything you do to what they're doing. "Oh, you went to Bali? I went to Thailand last year. It's way better." "Oh, you got a promotion? I got one too, but I got a 20% raise instead of 15. Everything's a competition for them, right? They give unsolicited advice and judgment about your life choices. You never ask them, but they sure have a lot to say about how you're living your life. And it's never framed as genuine support. It's laced with criticism, shame, and judgment. They talk negatively about you behind your back. You tell them something in confidence, and all of a sudden other people know about it as well. Or they're talking about you behind your back, criticizing, speculating, judging, and belittling your life decisions, all the while they have nothing going on for themselves in their own life. They get weird when you set boundaries or withhold information. You decide to stop sharing so much information about your personal life, and all of a sudden they get passive aggressive, offended, or start making comments like, "Wow, you've changed. You don't want to talk to us anymore. You think you're better than us now." This is how monitoring spirits behave in ways that you might not even be fully aware of. So how do you deal with monitoring spirits without letting them drain your energy or invade your privacy? You need to immediately go on an information diet. I've spoken about an information diet in a previous video. Stop giving them access to your life. If they're trying to monitor you, then they don't get the privilege of knowing your personal business. Be vague, be private, and share less. If they ask about your income, say, "I'm doing well, thanks." Or, "That's kind of personal, why do you ask?" If they ask about your relationship, say, "It's great, thanks." If they push you for more details, say, "I'd rather keep that private, thanks." You don't owe any nosy, invasive people any explanations for your personal life decisions. You set firm boundaries and you don't explain yourself. "I don't discuss my finances with anyone unless you're my financial advisor." Or, "I appreciate your concern, but I've got this handled." Or, "That information's personal and I'm not sharing that." No justification, no elaboration, just a simple and firm boundary, right? If people get mad at you for setting boundaries, then good. That means that the boundaries are working. Healthy people are going to respect other people's boundaries. Toxic people and monitoring spirits get offended by your boundaries because now you're cutting off their supply, right? Don't react to their rage bait. Monitoring spirits love to get a reaction out of you. They poke at you, make passive-aggressive comments, ask loaded questions, and try to provoke you into getting angry or defending yourself. So don't take the bait. Simply say, "That's an interesting perspective," or "I'll keep that in mind," or "Thank you for your input." Give them absolutely nothing and watch how quickly they lose interest when you stop feeding their need for drama and chaos. Protect your energy by limiting contact with these kinds of people. If someone's obsessed with monitoring your life, then they don't need to be in your inner circle. Downgrade them. Limit your interactions. Unfollow them, mute them, and block them if necessary. Your peace is worth much more than their access to your personal life. Their obsession with you isn't even about you. Monitoring spirits are triggered by their own insecurity, envy, and scarcity and victim mindset. Your life is simply the mirror reflecting exactly what they're unhappy about in their own life. Stop taking it so personally. Their behavior is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their own lack of inner peace. For example, say your cousin keeps on asking you invasive questions about your salary and your finances. Instead of explaining yourself, you say, "Unless you're a financial advisor, I don't discuss my finances with anyone," and then change the subject. All of a sudden, she gets all huffy and makes a comment like, "Well, excuse me for caring, I'm just trying to help you." You don't engage with her, you simply smile and move on. Eventually, she'll stop asking you because she'll realize that you're not going to give her the information that she's fishing for, right? Monitoring spirits obsess over your life because your beauty, your success, your confidence, your peace, it triggers everything that they themselves are insecure about. When you're thriving, it forces them to confront why they're not thriving. When you're setting boundaries, it highlights how much they've allowed people to walk all over them. When you're living authentically and unapologetically, it shines a light on how much they've been shrinking themselves to please other people. Your life is a mirror, and they don't like what they see reflected back to them. And instead of doing the internal work to change their own reflection, they start to obsess over yours. They monitor you, judge you, police you, because it's easier than confronting their own issues. But here's the truth. That's not your problem at all. You're not responsible for managing other people's insecurities. You're not required to dim your own light so that they feel comfortable. You don't have to shrink, hide, or apologize for living your life simply because it makes someone else uncomfortable. Say you start setting boundaries and prioritizing yourself, and your friend accuses you of changing or acting brand new. What they're really saying is, "I liked you better when you were a doormat that I could take advantage of. This new growth and this level up is making me uncomfortable because it's highlighting the fact that I myself haven't grown at all." Another example is, say you're winning in life right now, career, finances, health, fitness, relationships, and instead of celebrating you, your family says, "Oh, it must be nice to have it so easy." So they've just revealed that they believe that your success came without any effort because they can't handle the idea that you were disciplined and worked hard for it while they didn't. Again, that's their problem, not yours. Monitoring spirits exist because misery loves surveillance. People who are happy, fulfilled, and secure in their own lives don't have time or energy to obsess over yours. They're too busy building up their own lives. People who are insecure, envious, and stuck, they'll watch your every move, keep tabs on your wins, and try to police your choices because it gives them something to focus on besides their own lack of success in their own lives. The more you thrive, the more obsessed with your life that they're going to become. So here's your job. Stop giving them access. Put them on an information diet. Set boundaries. Protect your privacy. And let them be uncomfortable with your success because their discomfort is not your responsibility. You don't owe anyone a front row seat to your life, especially people who are monitoring you and watching you just to judge, compare, and find reasons to tear you down. Keep your wins to yourself or only share them with people who are living their own lives to the fullest and who genuinely celebrate you. Let the monitoring spirits watch from outside while you live your life unapologetically on the inside. If they're so obsessed with your life, it's simply because their own life isn't interesting enough for them. So just let them watch, let them monitor. Just don't let them all the way in, right? So tell me about it. Have you ever had someone in your life who seems more invested in your personal life than in their own personal life? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.